Last night, my friend came to my place to sleep after party. We both were drunk. While sleeping, my hands reached out to her breast. I had no plans or intentions to do so. We have slept together earlier also, but I never tried to touch her inappropriately. I don't know how I fucked up this night and I'm regretting it. The guilt is unbearable. I want to apologize to her, but I am scared of the consequences. I wish I could change whatever happened. I scratched a car while parking and drove away with it. I was parking and accidentally scratched the car next to me. I panicked because it's the first time I've ever made a mistake like this and just drove away. On my way to find another parking, I kept thinking what I could have done, and I hate myself so much right now for being so irresponsible. I'm just waiting for karma to hit me now. I'm so sorry to the car owner. It wasn't a huge dent, but it's a visible scratch indeed. I did scratch my car too, but I don't think that's an excuse for me to ignore my mistake. And accidentally scratched the car next to me. I panicked because it's the first time I've ever made a mistake like this and just drove away. On my way to find another parking, I kept thinking what I could have done, and I hate myself so much right now for being so irresponsible. I'm just waiting for karma to hit me now. I am so sorry to the car owner. It wasn't a huge dent, but it's a visible scratch indeed. I did scratch my car too, but I don't think that's an excuse for me to ignore my mistake. I pushed the pastor's giant pumpkin down the hill when I was 18. Every year he got a massive giant pumpkin for Halloween. I was 18, newly moved out and participating in Halloween for the first time ever. I was angry at him for always being so terrible to my family. We were almost the only family who didn't go to his church. So I had my friend drive to his house, and my brother and I pushed it down the road, which was a hill. It crashed into the neighbor's fence about 1/4 mile down the hill. The noise must have been horrendous and scary, and I feel really bad for those people. We drove away and no one ever even asked me about it. I kicked in special needs classmate so hard he started bleeding. Back when I was in elementary school, I was in a class for special needs since I got autism spectrum. So one day I was playing Lego and built something I was proud of, and I left it on the floor and had to do something. When I came back, I found my classmate destroying my build. Out of anger, I waited for a good moment to kick him in the head. Kid started bleeding and wasn't able to respond back or talk, and sentence teacher thought he hurt himself and brought him to the school nurse. Almost every day I think about it and how fucking sorry I am. I changed a grade on my report card. My elementary school would hand out handwritten report cards. In the 4th grade I got my first ever D in science, so instead of freaking out I walked into the bathroom, used whiteout over the D and turned it into a B. I'm 23 now and I still feel so bad. LMAO, my mom was so proud of that B. I stole my math exam when I was in high school so I could do it again. So in high school I was bad at math. Really bad. Loved it but sucked at it. Had to make a difficult test, and after submitting the exam, I knew that I was going to fail. Luckily my teacher was a mental mess and very bad at organizing the class, so when she was trying to stop the chaos I went to her desk and took the exam, went outside and hid it in the toilet. When I came back she was still arguing. When the class was over, she was counting the submitted exams and couldn't find mine, and at that time she stared at me and I stared back. Nothing happened. I did the test the day after and passed. I stole possibly hundreds of dollars from my grandmother when I was a kid. I was like 11. I don't even know how much, and she didn't notice for a while, but it went to the point where she had to contact lawyers and thought someone hacked into her Apple account. It was a ton of microtransactions on games/apps on my iPod. She even asked me to my face if it was me, and I told her no. She even said I wouldn't be in trouble if I did, but I couldn't confess. I had irresponsible and neglectful parents, and she took me in and gave me a better life than I would have had, and I stole from her. I was a stoned bus driver for a trip to Museum of Stones. I used to go drive my morning route, go home, smoke spice, nap, and drive my PM route later. I totally forgot I had a field trip charter and got a phone call asking where I was. I rushed in and drove them to the museum stoned. It went just fine as I had driven many times in my personal vehicle stoned. But one of the worst things I ever did, I threw the rest out. Now in the bus in charge of an entire district. I fired someone today. I stole a keyboard from my middle school to replace my broken one. In 6th grade I had one of those cool Macs with the different colors. Mine was purple. One day I accidentally spilled nail polish remover on my keyboard. Stopped working immediately. A few weeks later, the school received brand new computers, turquoise Macs. That also meant that my computer challenges were over. The next day during lunch, I did the swap. Nobody ever found out, and my mom somehow never noticed that the keyboard color didn't match the computer. The school ended up replacing the keyboard a few weeks later. I have always felt horrible about it. I stole many items from the lost and found all throughout high school. It started with me forgetting a sweatshirt in 9th grade on a cold day at track practice. The coach said, "Borrow one from the lost and found." I never put it back in the bin after practice. It then turned into stealing nice Nike track leggings, basically new sneakers, and running jackets. Then over the next year it turned into stealing a nice coat, boots, bracelets, you name it. I snuck into the gym locker room during workouts to steal from the lost and found. What makes it even worse is that I still wear a majority of this stuff today as a 21-year-old woman. In high school, I stole my friend's parents' car and took it for a joyride. Then we ditched it in the hood with the keys in the ignition and someone else got arrested for stealing it instead of me. The first part was extremely stupid and I felt bad about it afterwards, but the second part not so much. I honestly never really felt bad for the person who ended up getting in trouble for the stupid thing that I did. In high school, I stole my friend's parents' car and took it for a joyride. Then we ditched it in the hood with the keys in the ignition and someone else got arrested for stealing it instead of me. The first part was extremely stupid and I felt bad about it afterwards, but the second part not so much. I honestly never really felt bad for the person who ended up getting in trouble for the stupid thing that I did. My friends used to take money and shoes from my other friend and I never let him know. I never took anything, but I was well aware of what they were doing. I always felt guilty for not telling him. Actually, this guy being stolen from found out about $100 missing and my other friend admitted it was him. They got in a really bad fight and never talked again. There's still countless things they've stole from him, like a pair of his eyes that he isn't aware of. I hate to be shitty and not tell him, but I also don't want to get my ass best for letting him know. I've got quite the dilemma here. I stole money from my job for a few years and nobody ever bothered to check on camera. I was at my last job for 4 years and even became a manager. For all of those years, I would skim the till so that I would end the day with some cash. It was super easy because there was only ever one person working at a time, so I would give a total and change but never actually ring anyone up. I never kept track of how much I would walk away with on a daily basis, but I'm sure it was a lot. When I was in high school, I stole a prize-winning 4-H potato from the state fair. Yes, I really did this. I boiled it up in a pot with my gal pal and ate it with butter and salt. It was delicious. Now that I'm an adult, I'm sorry that I did it. Some little 4-H kid grew that potato and I stole a source of pride from her. Why did I do it? Because I thought it was a ridiculous and silly way to be a little rebellious. For what it's worth, it was the best potato I've ever eaten. I threw a hunk of applesauce at my brother and it made a huge mess. So this coolly just happened. I went into the kitchen to ask my little sister if she was fine eating lunch and she said yeah, but I was going to get some applesauce. So as she asked me to open it and as I tried, my brother was being really annoying and I had the jug in my hand and was about to throw it at him, but then I'm like, no, it'll make a mess. Then he continued to be annoying and so I did throw it at him. It got all over the floor and the bench and the table and on the windows and wall. It got so high up too. We quickly scrambled to clean it all up. Luckily my dad was at work and my older sister was in her room. Of any one days something about the kitchen smelling like applesauce, we have to act like we know nothing. It was kinda funny to be honest, but I shouldn't have thrown the applesauce in the first place.